Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Quick Kruger and today I'm taking a look at a little combination of commands I put together, as well as some other manipulations, I guess you could say, so that I could make a feature, add a feature to Minecraft that doesn't exist. And what I did is I combined the particle effects, the sound effects that I've done in a previous video, and the some other commands to make this thing happen. As you can see, there's this set of particles that's roaming around this area in sort of a figure eight. Some of you might be catching on to what I'm doing. Maybe not. It might not be that well executed. But let me show you. So if I walked into an area and saw this, I'd probably want to try to catch whatever this is, right? Well, if you do, it happens to pop up, and then it gives you a nice little nugget made of gold. If it makes a little bit more sense now, this is a Korok from Breath of the Wild, where they sort of just roam around, and you have to kind of get in their way and catch them. In this, you just have to kind of intersect with them at all, and they'll pop up. In 1.12, it's still completely possible, but the reason that it won't face you when it shows up is because this was made in 1.12, and in 1.12 there's not, I don't believe there's a way to do that using the teleport method. Maybe there is, and I just didn't know. But and also I'm not using the teleport method, I'm just using the summon method. But let me show you the inner workings of how this Korok works. If we go down here, I need night vision. Effect. Okay. The llama's not important. He just got in there when I was making this, and I decided not to kill him. So, yeah. So this is what I have working to make the figure eight pattern. But before I do any of that, okay. What happens is a minecart spawns, and it starts going around this track. This command block checks to see if there's a minecart directly above it, so radius 1, I mean, I guess it could be next to it or beneath it as well. But it checks for a minecart directly above it, and it adds a tag to it called new Korok, or which I use to distinguish if a Korok has not yet been found. It also adds the tag 0 for this specific Korok. So that way I can do things specifically to that one that do not affect other Koroks. And then here, this makes it so that this command stops running, so that you're not wasting, so you're not lagging up your world. It just destroys a redstone torch that's under there. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but that's the way I did it. And that way that command stops running, so it's not just constantly running while you're running your world. Next, these two are always running, and you can see that there are two different particle effects that are being executed, I guess, 3 blocks above the minecart, which happens to be right above the surface, I believe. I mean, that's what it shows up as. I guess it's technically in line with the surface block, which is what I wanted since the Koroks don't really float above the ground. And so those only affect all new Koroks. So any Korok that has not been found yet, this will create particles for. So you only really need one of these in a world, well, as long as these blocks are loaded in. So You could always, there's a command, I don't know how long it's been in, but I might have to just tab my way through. It's near the end, but it's a sort of like circle or something like that that allows you to keep a chunk or part of a chunk loaded indefinitely. Let's see. Okay, ticking area. Yeah, so it keeps being affected by game ticks. I know it exists in Java Edition as a different command and it has a slightly different area of effect, or a different area it can affect. But anyway, so that's something you could use if you didn't want to have these particle effect blocks in every single area, and you could probably find a way to more efficiently do the rest of this as well. But let's just continue on. The next thing you'll notice is I'm checking to see if there's a player that is intersecting with the location of the particle. Actually, slightly above is where I'm checking. One block above, I believe. No, I'm checking the same block. Okay. So I check if the player intersects with the particles. If it does, then I add the old Korok tag, which indicates that it has been found, remove new Korok, and I add a redstone torch right here, which then activates these blocks, which are a single pulse. So what happens is, oh yeah, so then it does the Korok appearance. So it makes some particle effects, spawns the Korok. I believe this is particle effects. Yeah, spawns the Korok, plays the little sounds that it played, and then waits for a second, spawns the gold nugget into its hand, and then plays 2 more sounds. So it's just supposed to be kind of like make the Korok sounds when you find it. Then this is like the sort of sounds the Korok makes as it's moving around in the grass, specifically the Koroks that do move around in the grass. And I used the skeleton sounds to make the sort of Korok jingle that you hear when they're moving around the grass. And if I stay near it, you can kind of hear. Oh, you could hear the jingle that was going on. Doesn't sound quite right, but not terrible. Yeah, that's the entirety of it. It currently doesn't have any other functionality. I am considering making a way to gather up all the different nuggets that they give you, or like accounting for them, or maybe instead of actually giving you a nugget, it just adds to your scoreboard the number of Korok seeds you have. Anything like that work. Oh, one thing I almost forgot. The railway. How I got it to do the figure 8, obviously that's not inherent to railways. All I did was I made it so that there were pressure plates that that the rail or the minecart would go over, and that would change the directions of the different connectors. And yeah, so then it would create a figure 8, and the way I was able to keep it so that they stayed in their position, because if you only do a pulse, it'll flip position and then flip back. If we go down here, there's a little bit of redstone involved. It's not just command blocks. These 2 torches point towards each other, or in other words, have redstone going towards each other to deactivate each other. And so whichever one is deactivated, the other one's able to be active because it's not receiving a redstone signal from the other torch, and then it can activate its signal that maintains the off of this torch. And what these detector rails do is they send a redstone signal down, and it turns off the torch initially, which allows the other torch to turn on that no longer has any redstone signal at it. Turn off the other one, and then it just alternates, because I have one here to turn it off when it's supposed to go over that one, or to flip it, I suppose, and one here to flip it right before it goes on that one. That way I can have this figure 8 going, Not really complicated, but just thought I'd look at it in case anyone's interested in making this exact thing. But I'll also have the world for download. So, and it also has, this world also has a project I need to fix. So probably just want to ignore that. Probably just want to ignore that one because it needs to be fixed. But it has all the particle effects as well. So if you didn't download it on my other video, you can. And also it has the sounds, which I didn't put on another video because it's not that complicated and I don't have every single sound, and I showed you how to find them, so I didn't think it was too big of a deal to not post the world at the time. But I feel like this time it's a little bit more involved, so it could definitely benefit to you guys, make it a little bit easier to see exactly what's going on. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with the effect I got going on here, but definitely ways I can make it better, like teleport him to rotate towards me, make a game counter so like I don't actually have to have him do that. I can just have it pop up on the side, and yeah, lots of things could be done better. Maybe I'll revisit it, maybe I won't. It depends how I'm feeling. I'm tempted to make an adventure map that has Koroks, that's like Legend of Zelda themed. That they wouldn't be the main goal, they'd be more like a bonus, but yeah. So there it is. So if you are interested in doing something like this, go ahead and download the world. It's going to be linked in the description. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something for Bedrock Edition's command blocks. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.